Hello, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for joining me here this morning on Narcissism 101 Cracking the Code with me, Paul Wisdom. Good morning. Hope everybody's having a good Monday morning so far. I haven't made a video in a while. I haven't spoken to you guys in a while. I hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys are taking care of yourself. I hope you guys are continuing to gain more knowledge on narcissistic abuse and how it affects people in many different ways. And I hope that this video helps you out because I have a really good one to talk about today. But before we talk about what we're going to talk about, if you would like a one-on-one session, please email me, paul.wisdom_03 at hotmail.com, or you can send a text message to 647-406-3057 if you want to talk, if you want to vent, if you need some more advice, if you're trying to figure out whether the person that you are dealing with is in fact a narcissist. Please feel free to reach out to me. If you would like to call, just send a text to the number I've just mentioned. Just let me know your name and let me know that you've been watching some of my videos. If you just call me, I may just block the number just because I just don't answer random numbers like that. There are a lot of predators out there. There are a lot of people who do those things. So just be careful, guys. So make sure that you just send a text, let me know it's you, and then I can give you the help that you need. All right. So what we are going to talk about today is what exactly do you do when the narcissist comes back? So I made a video, and some of you guys may have watched it. I hope you watched it. The video was entitled, Will the Narcissist Come Back? Now I'm making a video entitled, What exactly do you do when the narcissist comes back? Got a good one for you guys today. There may be a trigger warning in this video, but I hope that this video really resonates with you and helps you out. All right, so what exactly do you do when the narcissist comes back? The narcissist, like I said in my other video on will the narcissist come back, the truth is that you have to remember what narcissists, what their motive is, like why they do the things that they do, right? Narcissists do the things that they do because they ultimately want to control as many people as they can. I've said it in many of my videos, and this is still true, that narcissists thrive off of chaos, confusion, and control. So the last one there that I just mentioned is control. And this is how narcissists work. They want to control as many people as they can, and once they have those people where they want them, which is in the devaluation stage, then they know that they don't have to work as hard anymore. They don't have to do as much because they did so much in the love bomb stage, the love bombing devilish trap that they set for those people to fall into, right? And for those that are new to narcissism, and if you're new to this channel, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate having you here. The love bombing stage is when the narcissist makes everything seem too good to be true. Now, this can be romantic. This can be in a business setting relationship. This can be at work. This can be in church. This can be on the streets. Narcissists are everywhere. For those, if you're new to narcissism, narcissists are everywhere, and they exist. They're the epitome of the devil in human form. That's what they are essentially, right? They're the devil because they do everything that Satan does, right? So when it comes down to it, when they love bomb people, what they do is they shower them with adoration, with fake love. They tell them that they love them. They tell them that they're the best person in the world. How many times have you encountered someone that said that you're the best person in the world and you don't even know them? You probably just met them. You probably haven't even known them for so long. You probably met them from through somebody, right? And so they do this over a certain period of time, depending on what you provide for them, right? You will never know what you provide for them because that's part of the narcissist deception. They don't want you to know what it is that they are doing, right? And so when when they have you in the love bomb stage, they want to see if you are going to take a bite, meaning if you are going to entertain that love bomb, whether that's spending a lot of time with them, whether that's them sending you fake text messages like, I love you so much, I miss you so much, I've been thinking about you, I can't wait to see you again, baby, or whatever name that they refer to you as, right? So they do this because they want to hook you. They want to deceive you into thinking that they actually do care about you, right? And so once they know that they have you there, that you're responding to those messages, that you're giving them attention, then they know that they have something to work with, right? You have to also remember too with narcissists that they know because they have a very devilish sense. Remember what I said, they're like the devil. The devil knows the devil targets everybody. But what I'm saying is that the narcissist in human form, they can sniff people out really easily. So they have an idea about who they're going to target and who they're not going to mess around with, because they know that that person probably already knows who they are, or that person's probably a narcissist like them. So they know who they're going to target. So in this case, they targeted you because they know that you do not know what narcissism is, that you probably don't have boundaries, and that you probably don't know that you probably give everybody the benefit of the doubt all the time, right? Because that's the good person that you are. And there's no shame in that, because I was once that person as well. Doesn't mean I'm not still a good person. It just means that now I have boundaries. Now I know how to say no. Now I know how to, respect myself enough to walk away from things that are not good for me. Right. And so the narcissist, what I'm getting at here is that the narcissist, they want to see if you are going to fall for that love bombing stage, right? Because the narcissist does this to, get your attention, right? Because they know that they've done this to many people in the past, and they know that because it's worked so often with others, they know they have a sense inside their mind that's going to work on you as well, right? And so when it comes down to it, guys, that's what the narcissist does in the first place, right? So be aware of that love bomb stage. I make mention of this especially to the new people, so that people are aware of what the narcissist motive is, right? So back to what we're talking about here. When the narcissist comes back, the question you're going to ask yourself normally is, why exactly did they come back in the first place? That's the $1,000,000 question that you probably are going to ask yourself. Why did they come back? Why won't they just leave me alone? They discarded me, meaning that they stopped talking to me. They dropped the ball on me. If I was married to them, they just divorced me out of nowhere. And why are they all of a sudden coming back? What do they want? Or if it's a narcissistic family member, out of the blue, you haven't spoken to them in like 10 years, and out of the blue, they just pop up out of nowhere. They come back. Or if it's a boss, and let's say that you work at a job, let's say that out of nowhere, now your new boss happens to be the boss that you didn't like or that you worked with, right? Because maybe they got wind that you worked at that company through somebody else. I don't know. But what I'm saying is that narcissists, they something in their psyche makes them know somehow they find out somehow where you are, right? Or they ask around, because narcissists, remember, they talk to complete strangers that you probably don't even know, and they will get information from these people because the narcissist knows how to gather information. They gather information not in the same way you gather information. You gather information to learn, to grow, to make yourself a better person. But see, the narcissists, they gather information to abuse people, to manipulate people, to see if they can use that information to go against somebody, right? So if they use information for everything bad, you use information for everything good, so that you can be a better person, right? So that's the first question you're asking, is why did they come back? Well, the answer to that question, and I have the $1,000,000 answer to the question, is the reason why they came back is there's two reasons why they came back. The first reason they came back is because you probably didn't do your due diligence, and you probably didn't close off all avenues of communication with them. And so now they have a sense that you probably still want them, because that's how they think. They think that everybody that they can have access to everyone, and that they should be, and that people will want them, right? That's a complete lie, obviously, but that's how they think in their brains, right? That's how narcissists think. That, remember I said in one of my other videos, they have a high sense of self-entitlement, of importance, where they believe that they are better than everyone else. They believe that everybody should bow down to them, right? Which is not true, right? Because narcissists are complete nothings, right? But what I'm saying is that narcissists, that's how they think. And so when it comes down to it, that's number one, because you didn't close off all avenues of communication with them. The second reason why they just showed up out of nowhere is because the reason why is because they feel there's a spiritual exchange going on where they feel it necessary to check on you, right? They just out of nowhere, they just feel the need to check on you, right? To see how you are doing. Right now, it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. You're just minding your own business. You're trying to live your life and go about your life and do what you do. But they feel it necessary to check on you because they think that you still have something that they want. What that something is, I have no idea. I have no clue, nor do I want to figure out what that something is. But you probably have something that they want, right? Whether that's money, whether that's, I don't know, whether that's sex, whether that's a place to live, whether they're coming after you for something that they think that you still have, whether it's a item of some sort, like some clothing or something, or something. I don't know, but that's what I'm saying, right? Like they come around because they believe that you still have that, or they come around because you were on their mind. Right, you cross their mind somehow, and now they feel it necessary to come around to you to just to see, right? Now the question is, what exactly do you do when the narcissist comes back? So we talked about why exactly they come back. Now we're going to talk about what do you do when they come back. So here's the thing. It really depends on the narcissist that you're dealing with. This is why I've said in many of my videos in the past that you have to understand what narcissist you are dealing with, right? You can't think of every narcissist as the same. Now, they do the same things. They do the same things. But the thing is that every narcissist is a little bit different. You got the covert narcissist, you got the overt narcissist, you got the malignant narcissist, the most dangerous of them all. You got the grandiose narcissist. You got the religious narcissist. You got these type of narcissists. All right. So you have to. It all depends on what narcissist you're dealing with. Okay. So let's go through it. Let's go through it. So if you're dealing with an overt narcissist, and if you're new to narcissism, an overt narcissist, learning narcissism, that is, an overt narcissist is usually the loud one, the one that's very loud, very rambunctious. They'll get in your face and scream at you and cause a scene in front of everybody. And they'll probably break things or throw something at you, but they won't physically attack you, like put their hands on you and punch you or do any of that. That's your malignant. But we're talking about the overt. So the overt, they're very loud and very rambunctious, and they're all over the place. They could be a sociopath, because sociopaths, they're like psychopaths, but sociopaths are very unorganized, right? They're all over the place. So your overt's very loud and very much all over the place. So if you're dealing with an overt narcissist, what you need to keep in mind is that they're going to continue screaming very loud and making a scene. All you need to do is just ignore them, right? Don't give them any attention. If they're getting in your space, just walk away. Right? Don't give them any attention, because that's what narcissists bank on. All narcissists bank on that you're going to give them attention, that you're going to give them the time of day, because they have a high sense of self-importance, like I said before, where they believe that they should be able to get your attention. But they don't deserve your attention anyway, right? So what I'm saying here is don't give them any attention, just ignore them, just get up from where you are, walk away, and just leave them be. Right? Because they're banking on that you're going to give them attention, right? The other thing too, so that's the overt narcissist, okay? Don't give them any attention. Don't yell and scream back in their face, because then what's going to happen is that if you are in a public space, let's say you're at church, let's say you're at work or something like that, and you're dealing with an overt narcissist in any of those places, what's going to happen is that then when you entertain them, when you start yelling and screaming, everybody around is going to think that you are the narcissist. Now you're going to be the bad person, right? But if you and then the narcissist knows that you reacted to them, right? Because what they're trying to do when the narcissist comes back, what they're essentially doing to you is they're reactively abusing you, right? And what I mean by that, for those who are new to narcissism as well, what reactive abuse is when the narcissist is pushing your buttons and is getting you to react. When they constantly bother you, when they do something that they know that you don't like, they're doing it to get a reaction from you, right? Because they hope when they get that reaction, it makes them feel powerful. It makes them feel like they've won. It makes them feel like they're better than you, right? Which is really not true. They are not better than you, and they know that they're not better than you. But they need to convince themselves in their demonic delusional mind that they are essentially better than you. But they know that they're not. So that's how twisted they are, right? And so don't give them any attention. The overt narcissists we're talking about, don't give them any attention. Just ignore them. Just get up. Just walk away, and just don't give them any attention. If it's in a job setting, and it's your boss, or if it's a colleague, you're best off just walking away and probably just resigning on the spot, because you don't have to put up with any of that nonsense from anybody, right? And chances are they've done it to many other people, and they do it to everybody in the office, but those people tolerate it because they're not as strong as you are. They're not who you are. You know who you are, and you know that you don't tolerate nonsense like that. And the narcissist knows that, right? That's why they pick on you, right? They're like a bully, right? They're like a workplace bully, or a on the playground a bully in school, right? So don't give them any attention. Same thing if you're at school. If you're at school and you're dealing with an overt narcissist that's very loud and rambunctious and is a bully like that, like I said, just walk away. Don't give them any attention, because like I said, they bank on your reaction. They bank on you reacting and explaining yourself and saying, it's not my fault that da 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 da. They hope that you say that. But they know that when you don't say that, it gets them more angry. So just walk away. And guess what's going to happen when you walk away? People are going to see that you are a strong person, and they will even vouch for you. They'll stand up for you and say, wow, he didn't put up with any abuse. He didn't tolerate it. He or she just walked away and didn't take anything. That's commendable. That's when you can say that you are the better person than they are. If you're dealing with a covert narcissists are very sneaky. They're the very sneaky narcissists where they do things under the radar. They hope that people don't notice what they're doing, right? That's why people claim that the covert narcissist is the most dangerous one. I believe that the malignant is, but all commentators are very different in how they explain their stuff. But I explain my stuff a little bit differently than they do, because I'm different, right? But the covert narcissists, they do things under the radar. They're very sneaky. They're very quiet. They won't approach you directly. They will get somebody to approach you for them. Because narcissists also are very lazy too. They're very lazy. They don't like to get up and say what they have to say. They need to, and they also do this because they want to feel like powerful, because they know something that you don't know, right? So if you're dealing with a covert narcissist, they'll usually enlist one of their enablers, people that enable their poor behavior, also known as flying monkeys, right? And these people do their bidding, do their work for them, right? And so when those people approach you and they try to gather information about you, now hold on. I'm not trying to say everybody that gathers information is a narcissist. Some people just want to get to know you. But when they get to know you, it should feel genuine, right? It shouldn't feel like they're in a hurry, like, what do you do for this? What do you do for a living? And they're asking you questions, and it feels very robotic, like it feels like you're being interviewed, right? Then you know that that's a huge red flag. But if they're sitting down, they're getting to know you, and then you're talking about yourself, then that's a normal situation. But if they're doing that robotic stuff I've talked about just now, then you know that you're dealing with somebody who's a flying monkey, right? And you might as well just cut off, especially if it's somebody you don't know. Like it's somebody who's a complete stranger, who's just asking you random questions. You're best off just walking away, because that person is an enabler. That's a flying monkey who probably is more dangerous than the narcissist, right? So yeah, just and a covert narcissist, like I said, they won't approach you directly, right? And if they do approach you directly, they probably won't have much to say to you. They probably will just get in your space, and then they'll sit in an area where you are there. If you're in church with them, they'll probably sit next, like near you, probably not right next to you, but in your area, so that they can sort of get your attention, so that they can see if you're gonna take a bite and go talk to them, right? I see this all the time, and I've dealt with it myself, and we'll get to that in a moment. That's your covert narcissist, right? And you're better off just not even entertaining them. Just ignore them. Just pretend like they don't exist, right? Because they're banking on you going and talking to them, but you're not going to do that, right? Because you're much better than them, right? So that's your covert narcissist. Now, if you're dealing with a grandiose narcissist, I'm going to leave the malignant for last because I think that that's probably the one that's going to excite you all the most. The grandiose narcissist is a lot like the overt, whereas they're very charming, they're very go-lucky, they're like a clown at a clown show where they're very uppity, and they're very exciting and all that stuff, and they make a lot of noise. They're very loud as well. Same thing, just ignore them. Don't give them any attention. Just walk away if they start yelling and screaming. Just leave them alone, and then they'll go off and do it to somebody else because they see that it's not working on you. Right? That's your grandiose. Your spiritual narcissist. They're similar to, they can be either they can be spiritually covert or spiritually overt. They can be loud, they can be quiet and things like that. Again, just don't give them your attention. Just leave them alone. Just walk away. If they try to abuse you with scripture and say something along the lines of you should love everybody and all that stuff, and they're trying to bother you, just ignore them because they're trying to get to you, and they're so pathetic that way that they think that you're gonna take that from them. Just walk away, just ignore them, and then they'll go on to someone else. And if they start spreading rumors about you and smear campaign your name, don't give it any attention either, because essentially those people who follow the smear campaign, they're just as toxic or narcissistic as well, and they probably didn't like you from the start, and you don't want anything to do with those people anyway, right? So that's your spiritual. Now we're going to talk about the malignant narcissist. Pay very close attention here because this is very important. A lot of people, there are a lot of malignant narcissists as well. Malignant narcissists, they're known for being loud as well. You can also have a covert. I'm going to talk about the combination ones as well, but I want to just cover the basis here. Malignant narcissists are also very loud as well, but they can also be physically abusive. They can be very dangerous, right? They can carry weapons on them, whether it's knives or guns or whatever. They can be very dangerous. So here's what you're going to do. If you encounter a malignant narcissist, if the narcissist that reappears their ugly head into a space or somewhere you are, or they end up in your workplace, or they end up or they just pop up out of nowhere if you're at a store and they're there, if you're at church and they're there and they're a malignant narcissist, here's what you do. Pay very close attention. If they approach you, if they become loud and they start, backing you into a corner and start, getting their fist in your face and, trying to, pull you and strangle you like that, what you're going to do, you're going to stay calm. Don't try and fight them. Don't try to think you're a tough guy or a tough gal. Don't do any of that. Don't do anything. Okay. What I'm going to say you do, if you're in a space, okay, what I'm gonna say you do, and there's people around is what I'm talking about. If there's people around, what you are gonna do is tell the person nearest to you to call the police. Say, call the police, and then that person will call the police because they'll see that you're being backed in, that you're being abused, right? They'll call the police, and then the most likely that person will, they'll get the police over, and then you will be safe in that sense that the police is on the way. Now, if you're in a space where there's nobody around, let's say that you're in your house, let's say that you accidentally open the door, which you should never do. If someone's knocking on your door and you're not expecting them and you don't know who they are, first of all, you walk over, and if your door has a peephole, look through the peephole, see who it is, and if it's a stranger, someone you don't know, you don't need to answer the door. It's not necessary. They can always, send you an email. They can always do whatever they need to do. But if it's an authority or something like an animal authority or whatever, someone walking through the neighborhood, you should be okay with that, right? But if it's somebody that you don't know, a complete stranger just standing there, it's better that you probably don't answer the door, right? And if you don't have a peephole, what you could say to protect yourself is, who is it? And then they'll say who they are, right? And if there's no answer, probably best you don't answer the door either, okay? Now, the other thing with malignant narcissists is that, they, like I said, they can be very dangerous, so you need to protect yourself. You need to be very careful, right? Even before, you've removed them out of your life, you need to let people know, people you trust, let them know about this person, who this person is, so that they can also be aware and check up on you as well, make sure you're all right, all right? Now, if you're dealing with a covert malignant narcissist can also be quite dangerous as well, right? Covert malignant narcissists, they're a combination of a malignant and a covert. So they can be very quiet at one moment and then they can be very abusive the other, right? So you ought to do the same, approach it the same as well, right? Don't give them your attention. Just pretend like you don't want anything to do with them, like you don't care about them. Because once narcissists see that you don't care, it drives them nuts, right? And they'll most likely leave you alone, right? So that's what you do when the narcissist rears their ugly head or when they come back. I went through all the many different narcissists that you're gonna deal with. Now, I want to tell you guys about an experience that I had recently about narcissists that tried to rear their ugly head. These happen to be my narcissistic parents. So I was at church maybe a week or so ago. I was at church. I was sitting there just a normal church day, just enjoying my worship day, and everything was great. Everything was well. And out of nowhere, I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking that, are those my parents? Why are they here? And so they were walking into the church, and I was like, and I took a close look, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. In my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, my parents have just walked into my church. What are they doing here? And how did they know that I went to this church? And so I'm sitting there. I just sit there. I just pretend like I don't see them. I just sit there and I enjoy the service. And then, when service is over, what I did was I made my way to the front of the church so that they didn't see me. And so I just, walked through a few people and I just started shaking hands because they were headed the other way out the church, right? And so what I was doing was I was walking up front. Once I saw that they exited, that's when I got out because now I know that they didn't see me. I was like, great, they didn't see me. So apparently there was lunch after. So what I did was I went downstairs and I was hoping that they left, because I didn't see where they went. I thought they left. So I just walked downstairs and there they were again. So I sat down and I was having a conversation with a couple of, folks, a couple of the church people. I was sitting down and I was just hoping that they wouldn't see me because I would just ignore them. I just wouldn't have anything to do with them, right? So of course my narcissistic mother, she walks over so I'm hoping that they don't pay attention, that they don't care about me. But my overt narcissist mother, she comes over to me, and while I'm talking to someone, she comes over and she's like, "Hey, you," and I'm just sitting there like I just shake my head like, "All right." And then she walks over to me and then she starts hugging me. She starts putting her arms around me and she's like, "I missed you." And then, so notice how she didn't say my name. She didn't say my name. She didn't say anything like that. So she's over my shoulder and she's like, "I didn't know you go here." And I'm just like, I'm just not saying anything because I'm baffled. I'm like, why are they coming over to me, right? And then so what I did, the person I was talking to, I got up, I literally stood up, and then to the person I was talking to, I was like, "Yo, I gotta go. I remembered I have something to do at home." And legit, I had something to do at home. I wasn't lying. I had to, so I was like, "Yo, we'll talk about this next week." He's like, "All right, bro." So I props him, and then, that's when I walked away, and I sort of, speedily left, got out of there as fast as I could. And then I went home, and then when I got home, I sat in my house, and then would you believe it? Like when I looked out the window, why did I see them coming into my building? My narcissistic parents, they were coming into my building. And so they came into my building and they somehow made their way upstairs. I don't know how they got it, but narcissists, anything is possible with narcissists. They do anything. They know they're master manipulators, right? They're masterminds. So anyway, I'm sitting in my house. So when I see them, I just sit in my house and I pretend like, they're not coming to see me. So I think in my mind, right? They come upstairs, and then I get knocks on my door, and I just ignore them. I just sit there and I just because I was live streaming with another church online, and I was just sitting there just watching it and just ignoring the knock. And then out of nowhere, not my narcissistic mother, she's like, Paul, are you there? And then she's like, "I have something for you." And this is on a church day, right? You would think that on a church day, they would leave you alone because it's a church day and you're trying to worship, right? And they would just leave you alone. Well, that's not what happened. So she's trying to squeeze her way through my door, like banging on my door. And I'm thinking, are the neighbors going to hear? Are they going to think that they're psychos, like banging on my door? And then I see some card coming, through, like sliding through my door, and then it's sliding down the top to the bottom frame of my door, and then it goes through my door, it falls on the ground, and I just still ignore it, and I'm just sitting there watching, the live stream and whatever, and I don't give it any attention. So would you believe it that the knocking on the door, it went on for almost an hour, standing at my door and knocking for an hour, even though they knew that I wasn't answering the door. That's how pathetic narcissists are. They are literally that pathetic that they do things like that. So when narcissists do that, that's what I'm saying. Don't answer. Don't give them any supply, because they are looking for supply, right? Because they were not looking to make good with me or anything like that. Because if they did, they would have apologized and said, "I'm so sorry for this and that." That's what a normal, healthy, stable person does. They apologize. But narcissists, they don't apologize. Right? So I didn't give it any attention. I just ignored, right? All the knocks on the door, I just ignored, and I stayed silent. That's right. I stayed silent. I didn't start speaking or anything like that. I just stayed silent. I enjoyed the worship service, and I was singing very, humming quietly and things like that in my house. And I was just sitting there, just enjoying it. And after 3 or 4 hours, they left. And because when I was sitting down, I was praying. I was like, "God, please make them go away." And 3 hours later, they disappeared. They left. So see what I'm talking about, guys? This is what narcissists do. These are some of the things that narcissists do. And this is how you handle them when they come back. Don't give them any supply. Don't try to approach them. Don't answer the door. Don't answer them. Don't talk to them. Just walk away, because they're looking for you to react. They want a reaction from you so that they feel powerful about themselves. Because any normal, healthy, stable person, when they see a person that doesn't want anything to do with them, they don't have anything to do with them. They leave them alone, right? That's what a normal, healthy, stable person does. Especially if it's a person that doesn't want anything to do with you, you leave them alone, right? But a narcissist, narcissists don't see it like that. Which is what I've been saying. They have a high sense of self-entitlement where they believe that they should be able to have access to people, right? So that's what you do. Stay silent, especially if it's a malignant narcissist and they're banging on your door. Stay silent. Don't give it any attention. I know it's hard, and I know it would make you nervous. If I'm triggering you, I'm sorry. But and I know it's hard, right? That you want to respond, you want to say go away, but don't do any of that. Just ignore them. Just focus on yourself. Focus on what you're doing. Don't give them any attention, and they will eventually leave you alone, because they'll see that they cannot get to you. And then they're going to go on, they're going to find another source of supply to do the same thing to go around and bother. Because narcissists, they're up to no good. They're doing nothing good with their lives. That's why they do the things that they do, because they know that they're not up to any good. They need to abuse people. They need to bother people, to disrupt people's energy in order to fill themselves up, get their sources, get their supply. And then once that supply runs out, they need to get another supply and another supply and another supply and another supply. You guys see how this works? It should make a lot of sense by now. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. What do you do? What exactly do you do when the narcissist comes back? If you have any questions for me, please feel free to put your questions in the comments. If you liked what you saw today, like, subscribe, share it with somebody who you think could use the knowledge, or somebody who you think could be going through what I mentioned today. Like I said, if you'd like a one-on-one session, please feel free to email me, paul.wisdom_03@hotmail.com, or send a text to 647-406-3057. If you want to talk, if you want to vent, if you need some advice, if you're trying to figure out if you're dealing with a narcissist or not, I know how to decipher what a narcissist is compared to a toxic person or someone who just has some problems, some issues. I know how to differentiate all of them, so please feel free to reach out to me. Like I said, drop comments below, guys, if you can relate to what I'm talking about. Notice how in the what I explained to you here and how I handled it. Notice how I didn't respond, and how I didn't react. I didn't get up in the church in the lunchroom, and I didn't start making a scene and saying, "Why are you here?" and all this stuff, because then everybody would see that I'm the crazy one. They'll think I'm the narcissist, right? Which I'm not, right? So that's how I approached it. I just quietly got up and I just walked away, and I just left it alone, right? And then the next time I came to church, guess what? they weren't there, right? So that's what I'm trying to say, guys. It's how you approach things, right? Don't react, respond, right? I know it's easy. It's very easy to react and start getting mad and start, trying to, explain yourself and trying to get in the ring is what we say with the narcissist and try to battle them out. Don't bother. You're gonna waste your time. You're gonna waste your energy. You're gonna tire yourself out, and the narcissist knows that because they're they're demon possessed. Because only a demon possessed person would show up to where somebody is who wants nothing to do with them. That's what a demon possessed person does. A normal person would just leave them alone, like I said, right? So, God, I know this video went a little longer than usual, almost 35 minutes, but yeah, I had to bring this message home because it was on my mind, needed to talk about it. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for joining me here, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you on the next video. Thank you so much.